Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is Cassette Coast, and you're watching the JVaz show.
And welcome back to the podcast, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, JVaz, and you are watching your favorite podcast, the JVaz Show. And today's episode is going to be a good one. We are joined by the most underrated hip-hop artist out of Houston, Texas, in my opinion, Cassette Coast. Today's show, we're going to be talking about his relationship with JVaz, his upcoming project with his brother Slip, the project he's got with Lucky. We're going to be talking about his last project, Livelihood, and the feedback he's been getting from it. That and much more here on the JVaz Show, baby. Let's go.
3, 2, 1. Eating production present.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go! Hit it! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the JVaz Show.
And welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. We're here on 290 at Clicks Bar, joined by our guest today, Cassette Coast. What's up, man?
What it is, man?
Chilling, man. First of all, welcome back to the show, man. You joined us a little bit over a year ago when we first got the show started. And I sent you a screenshot the other day. Your interview is still one of the most heard interviews on Apple Podcasts. To me, that's pretty fucking dope.
Yeah, man, that's a cool feeling, man. I like, I like insight like that. Otherwise I would have never known.
Yeah, yeah, man. Because I know we were excited about having you on the show the first time around, and it was like, I said, let us see what kind of reaction we get, and to see people fucking with the interview like that. And we've had people that are like, man, we've heard the interview like 2 or 3 times. I wish you would have asked more. And it's like, bro, it was a whole hour we sat there and talked to you.
Right.
And I thought we touched a lot of. We touched about talking about JVaz, how you and Beredaz came about with Quota. We talked about, obviously, the main focus was your project Livelihood, and I will touch on that here in a second as well, man. But first of all, I want to say you look great, man. You told me you were on keto diet,
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, I started doing the keto thing like I think Thanksgiving of 2018. That was like my last whatever I want to eat meal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then right after Thanksgiving, I hit that keto pretty hard, and I just been pretty strict about it ever since. But the reason why I started it, you know what I'm saying? I mean, other than the fact that I was overweight, was my boy Eddie DeVille. He had been doing the keto, for a good, 7-8 months prior to when I started. And I would see him post his updates on Facebook. And he would like post pictures of the scale and the different numbers. And I was tracking his progress. And I was like, man, this dude losing weight. So I hit him up. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? And he said, well, I'm doing the keto. And I done already dropped like 100 pounds within 7-8 months. I was like, whoa. Man,
that's
so
fucking wild.
Yeah, so he inspired me. I was like, man, if Eddie could do it, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna take a crack at it. You know what I mean? So I started doing it, like I said, right after Thanksgiving, and it's been like about 5-6 months now, and shit, I'm down like. I've already dropped like 55 pounds. 55
pounds? Nice,
yeah.
Man. Yeah, one of my homeboys actually hit me up on Instagram. He's like, hey, ask Coast, what is he doing to lose weight? I said, he already told me, I already asked.
Yeah, that's
so I was like, man, I'll make sure I ask him on the podcast. You never know, we might inspire somebody else. I know I want to check it out, because I know you had told me about your, it might have been when you had started, when you were doing the smoothies.
Yeah, that was something I was trying, and that's not part of the keto. That was just something else somebody else had put me on, and I was like, okay, I'll try that, see how that works. And it wasn't really. It was probably a little effective in a minimal sense, but not like keto is.
Yeah,
the keto is something completely different, and I like keto because it, even though I'm controlling what I eat and how I eat, I never feel like I'm missing out on anything, even though I take a lot of things out of my diet that I would normally just go ham on. I don't feel like, man, I wish I could go back and eat tortillas or whatever. So on keto, you eat high protein, zero to no carbs, no sugar, high fiber, stuff like that. And then also on top of the diet itself, I do intermittent fasting where I'll go like 18 hours out of my day without eating.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and then for the other 6-hour window, that's where I consume, I get all my nutrients in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it sounds like it requires a lot of discipline for somebody to say, man, I don't know if I could go 18 hours a day without eating. Yeah, when you hear someone vocalize that, it sounds like a lot, but the 18 hours includes when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
So what I do, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll make sure my last meal of the day, I make sure I eat dinner at least by 8 o'clock, no later than 8 o'clock. And then the next day, I'll have my first meal at 2 o'clock. That's an 18-hour span. Yeah. So, as long as you eat dinner at 8,
it's not that bad.
Yeah, really you're skipping breakfast.
Yeah.
That's really all it is. You're skipping breakfast and then you're eating, you're being more conscious of what you're eating.
Yeah, yeah. Because when you say 18 hours, off top, that sounds difficult like shit. That's a lot of discipline. But yeah, once you take into consideration the amount of time we sleep and you say you're just skipping breakfast, that ain't that bad.
It's not that bad. And the results are, I'm amazed by it, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't expect to just be dropping pounds so quickly, but there it went.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, shit, let's start talking about music, man. Let's get into music. Last time we had you on the show, we were talking about your project Livelihood, and one of the comments you made during the interview was you were going to take a step back from music, and you just wanted to kind of like disappear for a moment and just, take some time off. For people that are, tuned into you on Instagram, Facebook, we've noticed that you actually started working on some music.
Right.
Can you tell me what changed between last February when we had you on to when you started making music? Like, what sparked again? Like, hey, I'm gonna get back into this.
Well, so really, the main reason why I was wanting to step away from it was, it was a difficult time in my life that happened about a year and a half ago, right? And it just created these demons in my head that I didn't want to stir up anymore. And it felt like anytime I ever went into the studio with the intentions of writing something, these demons would always pop up and say, you found yourself in a quiet space with time to think. Okay, we'll give you something to think about, right? This is the demons in my head. And it was just, it would drain me. It would tear me up inside. So I said, I can't deal with this. I don't think I can create anymore. If this is where my mind goes every time I put myself in a position to create, I don't want to put myself through that. So that's where the idea of just stepping away from it came from. But, they say time heals all. Yeah. And from then till here recently, I've found myself in a better place mentally, and so much so to where now I don't want to say I'm completely ready to just get back into how I used to approach things, but I find myself in a place now where I'm down to be involved in something that someone else is doing, to where I don't necessarily want everything, whether it be the concepts or the direction that a certain project is going. I don't want that much weight on my shoulders. I just want to get with somebody else that has their own ideas and have them feed that to me to where I can just play off of their vibe. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that way it takes me out of sitting there having to search my mind for content. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to get too much into, your personal life. I really don't want to get into it at all, just for respect. But what helped you get out of that dark time in your life?
People. Yeah. Like I was in, the lowest of the lows mentally, and thankfully I've got I've got good people on my side, whether it be friends or family, people that care about me and just want to see me do well. So it was people kind of cheering me on and trying to keep me in better spirits, and it was effective. And then also, just trying to get out and find love again. And I feel like I've been successful in that as well. So with all of that combined, it's got me in a better place now. Yeah, that's
good, man. That's good. We're happy to hear that. I know whenever we did the interview last time, it was with my friend, the co-host at the time, Mr. Lucky, and when you told us that, like we knew what you were going through, and we're like man, that sucks. Like, and to us as a fan of your music, we're like, it also sucks that he's not gonna make music no more. Like, this dude got a lot of shit that we've always listened to. Yeah. And after we got off the interview, me and him were wrapping up, and we're like, man, I hope he changes his mind later on, man. Just because, like I've told you before, man, we've been fans of your music for years. Right. So whenever you hear somebody that you've always listened to and look up to say, hey, I'm stepping back, it's kind of like, well, shit, like, who we gonna listen to now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's good to see you get back on music. It's good to hear that you're back to being you in your mentally as well. So that's good to hear, man. So last time we had you on, we were talking about your project that dropped, Livelihood. Right. And actually, we interviewed you like the day before it came out. What reaction have you been getting from Livelihood? It's been a little bit over a year now. So what reaction have you been getting from the fans from Livelihood?
Well, I tell you like this, I haven't received any negative reactions from anybody, and that is unbelievable to me because I expected them. I knew going in that my album is different than anything anybody else has or probably has had in recent history. You know what I'm saying? For somebody that's quote unquote in the Latin rap scene, my album didn't sound like I belonged there. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna put this project out. The music sounds way left, so I'm probably gonna receive some people hating on it a bit, but that wasn't the case. Really, people were digging just the fact that I was giving them something new, something fresh, something they're not used to. You know what I mean? And that was my intentions creating that album the whole time was, man, I don't want to make, if this is going to be my first album, I don't want to make an album that just sounds like everything everybody else already has out. You know what I mean? I want to be creative. I want to make something to where when you listen to it and you see that it came from me, you know that I'm a different type of artist, so.
Even in the intro, you mentioned it on there how, if this is not what you expected from me, I apologize. Something around those lines. And yeah, it was when we heard the album, it was completely different from the coast that a lot of people, you've even said this on one of the Thinking Out Loud projects when you're like, people tell you you're not Houston enough, you believe what you believe, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Some I can't remember the exact line now, but I remember you touched on that. And when we heard that album, that's what we heard. We heard something that was not even something you hear in Houston as far as a Houston artist. Right. But I think that's what makes Coast, because you've always had your own style, especially when you started doing more of the singing and I feel like you started showing your actual artist side instead of just trying to focus on, I'm going to be like Houston because I'm from Houston. Yeah,
but where that comes from is, I can remember a time when I was first getting into the industry on a professional level, but still wet around the ears, thinking to myself, man, once I figure out my sound and how I can just go into a studio and copy and paste my sound, then the game is over. I win at that point, because at that point I can just put myself on autopilot and then just go in, and everybody knows what I'm going to bring to the table whenever I come through. As a naive artist back then, that's the mentality I had, that, man, I'm going to just keep working on my craft. I'm going to perfect what I do. And then from there, it'll be smooth sailing. But then at a certain point, I achieved it. I knew what I sounded like. And a younger me would have been excited about that.
Yeah.
But once I got to that level, that plateau, it frustrated me, because it felt like, okay, now I know what's expected of me, who I am, and who I'm supposed to be. I've effectively put myself in a box. I don't want to be in a box.
Yeah.
So how can I reinvent myself? And with that frame of mind, I removed myself from what I was doing and how I did things. And I just started taking a stab at doing different types of, whether it be styles or complete genres. I said, let me try.
Yeah.
And after that, every time I built another style or another approach up to that point to where, okay, I've got it figured out, it frustrates me again. So I have to go back in again and change everything. Yeah. And so while that may be confusing to somebody that grabs a hold of a certain aspect of what I do, it may be frustrating to that listener, because, oh man, just when I thought he was this and that, he switched it up, and now he's not giving me what I was hoping he would give me.
Yeah.
But it's a personal, like a mental type thing. I don't want to be boxed in as nothing.
Yeah. And I think that's what we got from Livelihood. One of my personal favorite tracks is Not That It Matters. That track just gets you, like, as soon as you hear it, it gets you like in a different mood. It just makes you feel, it's like a happy track, basically, to me. I'm not exactly sure what to call it, but to me, you hear it and it makes you feel good. But one of the tracks that I know you've been getting a lot of good feedback, and I've seen the video reacts, The Upside Down.
Yeah.
I see you getting a lot of good feedback on that. You put the music video on that, and you go on there, you type in your name, and you see all these people that they say they've never heard of you, or they're not familiar with the Texas scene from all over the place. Even some older white people listening to it, and it's like, and their reaction to the song is like, whoa, like, where has this guy been? Yeah. So I say that to ask you this. How do you feel about that? And do you watch these videos? Like, do you watch the react videos? Are you familiar with some of the ones?
Yeah, I'm like, YouTube is the way I consume content. Period. I don't watch TV or I don't go to theaters or nothing like that. When I'm at home and I'm looking for something to watch, I'm looking for something to watch on YouTube. That's the only thing I do.
That's where it's at. Yeah.
That's where it's at. So yeah, naturally, every once in a while, I'll type my name in there and see what pops up. And yeah, I've fallen in that wormhole before of seeing people's reactions. So I've seen quite a bit of them.
And how does it feel to get that reaction from people that are not familiar with the music scene, are not familiar with your music, and to see them be so mind blown? Like, where this dude is a gem in Texas. Where is the promotion for him? Where's he been this whole time?
When I watch the reactions, I never watch it with the mindset of these people are reacting to me. I more so watch it for what it is, to where I'm thinking these people are reacting to an artist, to a song that they've never heard before. And so to me, the entertainment in that is literally what they're setting out to do is react. I'm entertained by watching someone react to something, and the whole while never thinking, hey, that's me they're reacting to. Yeah. I don't think like that. I just look at them get hype or critique something. I just, I watch it as the content that it's intended to be. I'm not taking notes or nothing like that. it's just something for me to watch.
For you to watch, yeah. Yeah, because I know I watch it, and to me, it's cool to see them be like, damn, this dude can spit. And it's like, we've been knowing this. I need to get more familiar with this.
Yeah.
So to keep talking about your music, we seen that you recently released a track with Lucky Luciano, and you actually mentioned you guys are working on a project together. How long has this been going on, and how far are you guys into the project?
Well, you see, Lucky had reached out to me some months back just to drop a 16 on something he was doing. So I did that for him, sent it back, and it turned out to be a good song. It's not for the project we're doing, but it was a good track. Then after that, I was working on something personally at home, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna get a feature on this. And me, when I ask for a feature, I like to get it almost instantly.
Yeah.
You know, I like working with different people, but when I'm looking for a feature, I'm like, man, who's probably in the studio right now that I can send this to, and their turnaround time is crazy. And really, the only person that comes to mind for that is Lucky. Lucky will send me a track. His turnaround time sometimes will be like 45 minutes, and he'll have a 16 sent back. So I hit him up. I was like, hey, throw me a verse on this. And he sent it to me, and I was like, okay, that's 2 bangers we got within the past 2 or 3 days. I said, you know what, Luck? We've done the North stuff quite a bit in the past, but you and I have never just come together as, just like a duo type thing and worked on a project. So, if you're down, let's get that rolling. And of course, Lucky's got, I've got so much love for Lucky, and he's got so much love for me. So there was no debating or nothing about it. He was just like, yeah, let's do it. So I'd say right now we're probably 6 or 7 tracks deep. And the reason why it's not more than that is I kind of work at a slower pace than Lucky. And like I said, I kind of need that other person to feed me concepts and ideas right now, because while I am getting back into the swing of things, I'm still not completely comfortable with just sitting in the studio with an empty canvas and just painting whatever comes to mind. I'm still not 100% comfortable with that yet. And that's what Lucky wants from me. Lucky wants me to send him, something that's already got a chorus or a verse on it, and he feeds off of that. So it kind of creates a delay in the sense that we're working on a project together. I want him to come to the table with something first. He wants me to come to the table with something first, and it just kind of slows things down a little bit. But it's slowly but surely getting worked out. Like I said, we got about 6 or 7 tracks on there right now. Ooh, we got a good one on there too. Yeah. We got a good one. Nah, I ain't gonna. Well, we got a track that we did with the Isley Brothers sample. It was the same sample that UGK used on One Day You're Here. Yeah. Same sample. And my brother actually flipped the sample. And damn, this shit is so hard. Yeah. I want to put it out right now, but I'm like, nah, because once I put this out, it's going to create that hype that we need for the project. Yeah. But man.
So which version of Coast? Are we going to get the Coast that does everything, that he gets on there singing? He be wrecking that bitch as well? Or are you more matching Lucky's style? Or what version are we getting on this project?
It's gonna be more rap, but still Lucky as well as myself. We both still kind of lean on me heavily when it comes to creating the hooks. So there'll still be the singing aspect when it comes to doing the hooks. But yeah, I'm really just trying to rap a little bit more right now. and then save the other creative stuff for another project that I'm working on the side. So yeah, it'll be a mixture of both. And as far as like content, I do want to match what Lucky does, and even when I have to create the concepts, I want to do something that's comfortable for Lucky to do. But with that being said, I don't want to make everything about what's flashy.
Yeah.
You know, and even if you listen to Lucky's music right now, he's kind of backed away from doing that a lot. Lucky now, where in the past he's been the flashy guy, he's more directed towards real life type concepts now. So I think in the end it's gonna make for a project that is unlike any of the now stuff we've done together.
Nice. Do you guys have any idea, or have y'all thought of when you expect this to be done, and when would it drop?
No. Well, like I said, we probably got about 6 or 7 tracks now. I don't foresee us doing anything more than maybe 13 to 15 total.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we're probably at the 50 to 60% completion right now.
Nice.
And I don't know. When I leave here, I could go straight home and start working on the next track 8 and track 9, and have that done. And you know, by the end of the month, have the full 15. But I don't know. Like I said, I work a lot slower. When I get in the studio, I feel like stars have to align for me to be able to create something. Man,
I seen the pictures you put on Instagram of all your takes, and it's like, man, a lot of creativity going on behind these tracks.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna play. What's the name of the track that you have with Lucky? I can't remember the name of the track.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. There you go. We played it a couple of times, and so we'll play it right now, and we'll be right back.
I sip some every once in a while to hunker me down, and now that I'm running around the town, inside you down, and I'm covered in diamonds, bumping the island, brother, choosy lover, I'm vibing with this fine little bitch, got nothing in common, nothing but problems, all when a brother is finding, but I fuck with it though, cause it's something to slide and let an outside nigga pop shit. Nigga, all I ever really do is drop hits, Lucky Louis complex, with it too to make it cool to shine, bitch, tell your boo to get a view of my wrist, and a super fly whip, gotta shoot it, that intruder, never take a day off Ferris Bueller, I've been doing the time of screwing up her music, cause I'm stupider than you are, native of the Vogues on a rocket down viewer, and I'm Houston till I die. Throw the deuce at the roof when I cruise by. Sometimes I'm a fool when I'm too high. Cool can't lose in a few lives. Same high, I can maintain anything. Change still claiming the same gang. When I gang bang, 4 lanes. When I swing grain in the paint, same space age crusade. When I sip drinking, hey wait. Oh my God, oh my God. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
All right, so that was Oh My God by Coast and Lucky Luciano from their new project. Do you guys have a title for that yet?
Nope.
We
haven't even discussed it. We ain't discussed if what the title's gonna be. We ain't discussed if we're gonna call ourselves something, like if we were a group or something, or we ain't talk about none of those details.
So when you say it's the early stage, about 50%. Yeah, you guys haven't gotten there yet. Another project that you were telling me about here that we want to talk about is the project with your brother Slip. Can you talk to us about that project you got going on?
Yeah, so that project, just like the project that I'm doing with Luck, it's been a long time coming. It's like we should have done a project together long time ago. And the reason why we're putting momentum behind a project with me and my brother now is because I don't want to see either one of, and it sounds morbid, but it's not. I don't want to see whether it be me or him leave this earth and leave the other one still here thinking, damn, all these years we've been doing this shit, we never did nothing together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, bro, there's nothing stopping us from doing our project together. So, I put the green light on it, and he put the green light on it. So that's what we're working on now on the side. So I've effectively got 2 projects that I'm working on. You know, the one with Lucky and the one with my brother Slip. But now the one that I'm doing with my brother, that one's going to be more of the creative stuff. Not to say there's not going to be any creativity on what I do with Lucky, but I'm talking about not wanting to be in that box that I was talking about earlier. Trying to reinvent myself again. And the same thing with my brother. You know, my brother, he doesn't like just producing one type of music. I don't like writing one type of music. So you put us together, and creatively, we have no idea what our music is about to sound like. Yeah. You know, so it's an interesting place to be. You know, just like mentally trying to match what he's doing, he's trying to match what I'm doing, and then somewhere along those lines, we meet each other and create something we didn't expect. Yeah. So that's where we're at right now. You know, he'll shoot me ideas, I'll shoot him ideas, and then at this point we've got about 3 or 4 tracks ready to go. And as far as how many we're gonna do, I don't know. I think me and my brother could just keep going. Yeah. Yeah, because that's the fun part of everything to me, is not knowing what you're doing. That shit is fun. Yeah.
Yeah. When can we expect for you guys to put out the first track from the project?
I don't know. I mean, well, I could put a track out today, because really it's the project that I'm doing with him is a project that I have not been vocal about. Like, obviously the one with Lucky, you know, we've already got the track out on YouTube, and you know, I've been telling people about it. Lucky's been telling people that we're doing it. But as far as the one with me and my brother, I ain't told really nobody. We got an exclusive news, watch out. Yeah, exclusive. Yup. And I don't think my brother's really telling people about it either. And it's not because the reason why we're not being super vocal about it right now is because it's still in its infancy. Yeah. You know, we don't have a lot to. If I was to start telling you about it, we don't have really anything to promote or really push it right now. Yeah. You know. All right.
So one of my favorite tracks from your recent projects, I have a lot. It's like the second time I mentioned a favorite track, but one of my favorite tracks that I liked was "Stay Low," and I think last week you posted something on Instagram about the track itself, about being one of your personal favorites, and you described what the song was about: somebody falling in love. Can't remember the exact words you posted on Instagram, but can you talk to us about this track and why it's your personal favorite?
So the concept behind Stay Low, it's an idea that I had in my head for maybe 2-3 years before I actually wrote the song. I was like, when I thought of the concept, I was like, man, that's a good idea, but I can't just put this on no trap beat. I can't just, you know what I'm saying? I have to wait. I have to wait this one out until I find the right track. But the concept behind the song is, have you ever seen the movie Little Monsters with Fred Savage?
Oh, I haven't.
Have you ever seen Monsters Inc.? The little animated thing? Yeah. Okay, so Monsters Inc., right? You got all these monsters, and their 9 to 5 is to go scare children in their sleep. Yeah. Right? That's what they do. That's their livelihood. My idea was, if you take a monster, if you take this idea from the perspective of one of these monsters, that's what they do, is they go and scare people in their sleep. So let's say that a monster, this one in particular, he's assigned to scare this one girl. I don't want to say girl, scares this one woman. That's his job. Now let's say somewhere along those lines he actually falls in love with her. he's crazy about her. He wants to be with her. But the only time he can ever spend any time with her is when he's in her nightmares scaring the living hell out of her. So to him, it becomes a nightmare of his own because he wants nothing more than just embrace her and be with her. But rather than do that to her, he says, I'm going to just stay low, just try to watch from afar, but this is how I feel about you.
Yeah.
And that's really what the song is about. So, and I wrote it in a manner to where you can apply that story or that feeling to just your regular person, right? Anybody that feels like the person that they love is unapproachable. You know, I wrote it kind of vaguely in that sense, but ultimately the real story of it is literally about a monster.
Yeah, that's creative as fuck, man. Because I remember we talked about there was a track you had on Twin Beredaz, the one with the stories on there, the prom story.
Last page of a diary.
Last page of a diary, and I asked you if that was a real story, and you told me you just came up with those stories. So for you to come up with these concepts, just and put them in a track and make it make sense, to me that's pretty fucking dope. When I heard "Stay Low," the idea that I got was, when I heard it, what crossed my mind, it was somebody that you fall in love with somebody, but you feel like you cannot offer them more than what they already have, especially with the chorus when you're like, of course my mind's gonna go blank talking about it, but you say something around the lines of
looks like life's been treating you right. I'm no prize when I leave here tonight. I'll just stay low.
Yeah, when I hear that, that's what it feels like. Kind of like, personally, you feel like, and not you, but in general, like personally, you feel like I have nothing to offer to her. She's doing pretty good off herself. I'm not good enough, kind of idea. That's what crossed my mind when I heard it. Yeah. And like I say, it was one of my personal favorites. So when I seen you post it, I was like, gotta talk about this, because I up to this date, like that track pops up on my playlist randomly, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. I was like, I want him to go more into detail in case people miss the Instagram post.
Yeah, but you know what? That's cool that you feel that way, because I like having music that people can interpret differently. If I was to just make music specifically about, look at my car, there's no other way to interpret that. Yeah. There's no other way that...
I look at the car, I was like, wait.
Yeah, there's the car. Okay, great. You know, and then the next song, look at my fucking ice or whatever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I saw it. Yeah, what now? There's nothing to really interpret differently from the artist's intent. Yeah. So I like listening to music like that. Therefore, I want to create music like that to where somebody can, you know, translate things however they whatever is affecting them in their own personal life. Yeah. You know, that shit to me is dope.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. Yeah, because like I said, you have a lot of tracks that I hear in different moods to different tracks. Not that it matters. Like I told you earlier, it's like a happy track to me. Then this one is more like a mellow, laid-back track, but you hear it and you create like a story in your head. I think that's what you say you like when people create their own stories. It's kind of like you make a movie when you're listening to the track and you see it. So to me, that's pretty dope as well. So is there any current or not just current, but are you thinking about putting any solo project anytime soon? Can we expect a solo project from Coast anytime soon? I
really the closest thing we'll get right now is the one that I'm working on with my brother, because my brother's just going to be on the production side of things. Vocally, everything else is for the most part going to be me. My brother kind of plays around with doing stuff vocally too, so there's that. But yeah, for the most part, it's going to be me conceptually playing that role. But you know, as far as doing like another livelihood type of production, I'm not really thinking about that yet.
Because, man, we waited forever for livelihood.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you did drop, what was it, the Thinking Out Loud in between, while we waited for that project. So what about music videos? Do we have anything coming out? I know you put out Upside Down, but anything else you might be working on?
I'm not ready to start doing music videos for any of my own work. But week before last, I just shot a video with an artist. I did a feature for an artist named Padron.
You killed that fucking track.
Oh, you heard it?
Man, he sent it to me. We played it on last episode of The Underdog where we play music.
Right.
He sent it to me. We played it on there. That bitch jam. I was showing it to him on the way over here.
Yeah, we did the video for that a couple weeks back.
I'm So H-Town, I think is what it's called.
Right, yeah. So I can't wait to see it. I want to see how it looks, because normally all my videos I do through G Films, right? And this is my first time really working on a video with somebody else. Barf is the one that directed this video, and I want to see what it looks like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially now, I done lost some pounds. I want to see what I look like.
hey, that boy was looking fly. I seen that shirt, and I saw you pull out the old Dope House charm.
Yeah.
I said, watch out, boy. That's what's up, man. Speaking of Dope House, what kind of relationship you got with Dope House nowadays?
Oh, man. It's a weird one. So, for the most part, I would say I don't have one with Dope House, but then again, I do. I don't really speak to anybody there. I don't hardly ever visit anybody there. Whenever they do their Dope House reunion, whenever they do their Dope House reunion shows or whatever they're doing, rarely ever will you find me at one.
I was kind of disappointed about that.
Well,
we went to the last event, and I was like, maybe Coles will be there. Like, I have never seen you perform, so I was like, we'll get to see him perform.
Well, it's by design, though, right? Because I was with Dope House for however many years I was there, for a good while. And then when I left and started trying to do things on my own, people would refer to me as Coast from Dope House. And I was like, yeah, but I'm not. I'm just Coast.
Yeah.
So from that point on, it was a priority of mine to, when people referred to me, I was just Coast, or now Cassette Coast. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I've gotten to that point now, to where people can just say my name and they know who I am.
Yeah.
And not associate me with a record label.
Yeah.
So it had nothing to do with not being cool with anybody in the company or nothing like that. We never see Coast at any other functions. It's got nothing to do with anybody at the company. It's just because I wanted to create my own identity. So with that being said, I don't really speak to anyone there. But every once in a while, I'll get the call, Carlos needs you for a verse. Okay, cool, I'm there. I got you. And then what's crazy that you even bring this up is maybe about 3 weeks ago, probably not even that long, Tootie, which is Carlos's brother, he just called me out the blue. He's like, hey, what are you doing? Nothing. What's up?
Really, what's up?
Yeah. He was like, hey, man, I know I'm late, but I just heard your album, Livelihood, and I think it's some of the greatest, he just started praising it or whatever. And he was like, we need to get together and we need to talk. I want to take your music and show it to my white friends. And I'm like, what are you talking about, a white friend? But the way Tootie talks, by that he means he wants to take it to his insiders, like his corporate people. You know what I'm saying?
I was about to say.
Yeah.
Week I had a backhand compliment?
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, what you mean?
Nah, that's the way. Yeah, that's the way he talks. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. He wants to open the doors for some sort of involvement with me, I'm not opposed to it, but I'm extremely cautious, because like I said, I've put in a large effort to just be Coast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And not Coast from Dope House. But I've got so much love for that family.
Yeah.
And for what they've allowed me to, they gave me my platform basically. And I'm forever grateful for that.
Yeah.
So I'm open to conversation.
They're good people from what I know them. I don't know them a lot. There was an event that had the SPM Free the Mexican Tour. Oh, no, the Mexican Lives Tour here in Iva Center. We went there and we covered the event. And that's the event that I was thinking, okay, so it's the Dope House event. I figured to see more familiar Dope House faces. So I was like, Coast might be there. I was just expecting that.
Yeah.
I think the only familiar face we got to see was Juan Gotti.
Yeah.
Shout outs to Juan Gotti, but his performance got weird. He started doing rock, and then the people in the crowd were just wilding. Now I was like, wait a minute, man, this is not what I was expecting. But people loved it, so
Yeah.
So that's that. Now, I think that's the only familiar face we got to see. Obviously, we got to see Carly. We got to see. I think they have two new artists, Just in Case, and they have Shay Woods. So. I don't know. I was just expecting more of bringing back the original members. So yeah, that's why I was asking. I was like, kind of disappointed that I didn't get to see a lot of you guys there. But they are good people. Sylvia allowed us to cover the event.
Yeah.
She was real nice with us. Funny story. We got this dope ass interview with Sylvia, right? I sit there and I start asking her about, Dope House, about Carlos, about how, she's pushing Carly. About probably 10 minutes worth of footage. Dope ass interview. We play it, we forgot to turn the mic on. So we have the video, but no audio. I hope that's not happening right now, because what a waste of time that would be. But yeah, that happened. I was like, shit, man. Like, she was real cool about giving us the interview, but I didn't want to go back and be like, hey, we just talked about it. Let's do it again, because I forgot to turn the mic on. But yeah, they're cool people at Dope House, man. I was just wondering what, the relationship you guys had. Actually, I saw Rashid out there, Dope House Backbone, what he calls himself. But so we talked about this before, but somebody hit me up and they said they want me to ask this question. Any possibilities we'll ever get a Twin Beredaz Part 2?
Never. None at all.
None at all?
Whatsoever. No, absolutely not.
Cool.
Well, I mean, there's a Twin Beredaz Part 2. It does exist. Dope House never released it. We turned it in though. I have a copy of it. I revisited it not too long ago, maybe a couple of years back. I went back and listened to it again just because I was curious as to what we did. And at this point, I hope they don't release it. And it's because it sounds dated.
Yeah.
It sounds like if you were to release that album in 2019, it
wouldn't make sense now.
It wouldn't.
Yeah.
It wouldn't make sense. So it would have been good for the time that we turned it in. It would have been good then, but I don't think people would really dig it now.
Yeah. That was one of the questions that told me to ask. So my only other question that I would have for you is, as far as, you've been doing this music stuff for a while now. You said you started with Dope House. What have you learned from the industry from when you first stepped into the studio the first time to you right now? What's a good takeaway that you could tell other independent artists?
Well, I think the only thing, if someone were to ask me, what advice do you have for an up-and-coming artist, the only response that I could 100% feel confident in giving is to be yourself. When you go in the studio as you.
Yeah.
Be yourself. Because what ends up happening, and it happens very frequently, somebody will hit me up and they'll say, hey, can you listen to my song? And they'll send me the link. And majority of the time, I'm not really down for that. But there are those occasions where I'm like, yeah, bro, let me check you out.
Yeah.
And I'll go and I'll listen to their song. And I'm listening. And what I hear more than them themselves is I hear their influences. I can hear who they're influenced by. If they're influenced by Kendrick Lamar, I can hear it. And it doesn't make me want to listen to any of their other stuff. It might make me want to go listen to Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah. Yeah.
So very rarely does anyone ever send me their music to listen to and it sound authentic. I don't want to hear your rendition of someone else. And I feel like that's a quality that I have.
Yeah.
When you listen to my music, even though I'm influenced by a lot of different artists, but I won't let you know that.
Yeah.
When you listen to my music, you can't pick out who I'm influenced by. And that's by design.
Yeah.
So to any artists that are trying to come up, just create your own space.
Be you.
Create your own lane. Be yourself.
Speaking of independent artists, is there any artists out there right now that people might not be familiar with, but that you like?
Yeah. I've always been a huge supporter of Kid the Great, which I really wish he was a lot further in his career right now, because that guy is an incredible talent.
I remember you featured him on.
Yeah, he was on my last mixtape.
Yeah, where
Yeah, he had his own song.
Stay Low was on.
Yeah, he had the outro on that song, on that tape. But man, his music is phenomenal, man. Like he's one of the very few artists that I have, curated playlists in my phone.
From him.
Yeah, that that's one of my go-tos to listen to. So him, I really want to see more people check out Clever. Clever's really good. There's this chick that sings. Lily Aviana. Just incredible singer. I really enjoy her music. She's from here in Houston. But I don't know, man. Like here lately, when I go to listen to music, I listen to stuff that don't really got too much words in it.
Yeah.
So as far as upcoming artists, independent artists from around here, I don't really know who they are right now. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up, man. Well, shit, man. Once again, we appreciate you, man. We appreciate you taking the time talking to us. For somebody that might be tuning in for the first time and not know where they can find you on social media pages, you want to go ahead and tell them where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me everywhere as Cassette Coast. Cassette like the cassette tape, Coast. And before we go, I did have the opportunity to listen to the interview that you did with Clever. Just want to say, Clever, fuck you, dog. Because when you were interviewing Clever, he made it a point to where one of the first things that came out of his mouth is Coast is old.
Yeah, he's old as fuck. He said.
Yeah, he said me and Coast went to the same high school, except he graduated like 40 years before me.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm like, dog, what? First, right out the gate, you just gonna go in on me? You motherfucker. So, yeah. Clever, fuck you, dog.
There you go. I remember that, yeah. Well, man, any last shout outs besides Clever's fuck you?
Well, nah, I love Clever, man. That's my boy. Yeah, shout out to his brother Stunner, Lucky, Eddie DeVille, Angelica, my brother Slip Symphony, and the JVaz show.
Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you having you, man. We're glad we were able to get you on here again. when we first thought of the idea of starting doing YouTube, I told my girl, I told everybody, but I told her first. I was like, hey, the first people I want on here, it has to be Coast. Like, he has to be one of the first people that we have on here.
Right on.
Just as a fan, like, just because I fuck with your music, been fucking with it for a long time, and I was like, you know, he has to be like on one of the first episodes. I'm like, I don't care anybody else's. No disrespect to anybody else. I fuck with everybody else, but that was like a must. Like, before we release anything, we have to have Coast interview. Like, we have to. So I'm glad we were able to get you on here, man.
Hell
Appreciate
yeah.
you making time. And if you guys haven't checked out the last interview we did, just scroll all the way back to the beginning of the podcast, Livelihood with Cassette Coast. Pretty dope interview. This quality is better, but go back and check that one out. And once again, man, thank you guys for tuning in. We are here at Clicks on 290, and you're watching the JVaz Show.